you!
You're scared. And you should be.
This is not your company anymore.
Leave the cheek of CM Punk.
Out! Combo move! This is what they've been doing! Hey, McAfee!
Everyone shut the up and sit down!
We got a mom in the front row who taught her daughter how to suck dick!
I'm Mina Shirakawa. I used to be a model. I want to put on a big show.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Saturday Shenanigans, hosted by yours truly, the Renegade JJ Williams. Hi guys. Hi guys. CM Punk drama bullshit to the side. I still consider Hangman the worst AEW champion they've had. First of all, we're going to bring in Walter Cruz.
I said that as a joke when what's his name did his promo Monday. He said, "I'm from a prestige university." I said he majored in Steiner Man.
We've got the Heb man, James Hebert, in the house.
I do really cool and dumb things. Mutants.
Right. A lot of shit going on here. A lot of fucking crazy ass shit.
Where is Noah JD? Well, say his name and he appears, because we believe in Noah Foster.
Fuck is this intro? It is one of those things where as fans we do have these desires for what we want to see, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, and there are reasons you truly don't get what you want. I wouldn't even listen to this in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What the fuck is this shit? God, rap is whack. Like I said, never been a greater time to be a wrestling fan than with more companies in a more lucrative spot, in a more comfortable business spot, in a sense of mind, it seems, than ever. Again, WWE is not the only one. It is not the end-all, be-all. So let's go back to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams to get the official word. JJ, speak!
Make sure you tune in every week, because you never know who's going to drop in to join the shenanigans. Catboy is in the house.
Hello, my internet family. I say if you want to make them as evil as possible, make them really mad.
We have Mansfield joining the party now. What is going on, Josh?
Like I told no one when we were in Cleveland, him joining Chase U was just an unfortunate side effect of my shenanigans towards you, JJ. I know how it can get better, Noah. The panel chooses you.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
He said that so like.
We got the intro back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just think how you and I had lunch together the other week.
That was different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen is here. Say his name and he appears. We believe in King A-Train. There are so many believers in Joe Hendry. The only person on this panel that doesn't believe in Joe Hendry is King A-Train. Tell the world why you do not believe in Joe Hendry.
The reason I do not believe Joe Hendry is he is Fandango 2.0 in a entrance merchant. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Hey! There's nothing wrong with being an entrance merchant. He has some of the best entrances of all time.
Teleporting into the command center, all the way from Angel Grove High, Datilla.
Oh, yeah. I went to the command center on Thursday. I went to Vasquez Rocks, which is where they filmed a lot of episodes. Somebody actually climbed to the very top of those rocks. I made it halfway. I was like, I'm not going up there. Definitely Toni Storm versus Mariah May. That's the one match I probably am looking forward to the most. I really like the story. I'm familiar with all about Eve, so if it plays out that way, I kind of know how this is gonna go.
Say goodnight, Datilla.
Good night.
James, you did say his name. So he shall appear, ladies and gentlemen, the first time on the Shenanigans. Jeff Meacham is in the motherfucking house.
All right, we're coming in hard with the botch. All right, fucking hell. It's good to be back. It's good to have an opportunity to talk to the crowd on a Saturday. If you want to have yourself stomach through it, you can go back and watch when the Main Event Mafia took over Impact. That's what James is talking about. So if everybody just joined us, we're talking about people sedating people, attempted murder, boys, and tips. Welcome to Saturday Shenanigans, everybody. Aren't you glad I'm back?
Welcome back, Jeff.
Cool. Yeah.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome once again to the Saturday Night Shenanigans here across the Simply Reliable Studios brand of channels. I am, of course, your host and moderator, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Hope everyone is having a great evening so far. Got a lot of stuff we're going to try and talk about tonight. Let's not waste any time. First one joining us tonight, the Heeb Man, James Hebert, is in the house.
Me. It's all me, as one David Williams would say on Britain's Got Talent. And if you get that reference, then you're cultured. If you don't get that reference, then you're just confused, and that's okay, because that's what I'm here to do, is confuse you people.
You keep me on my toes quite a bit, James. You definitely are confusing.
Well, considering what happened, Jesus Christ. That's pretty apropos, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, Charles. How you doing? Good to see you, Mr. Williams. Good to see Safet in the chat as well. Thank you guys for joining us.
Charles says, good luck trying to confuse me, James.
I don't know. I've done it a couple times already, Charles. This is just saying. So there is that. But yeah. Whew. So we're waiting for... So you know how there was Sleepy Ed on the GCW Clusterfuck Forever show? Ironically, we were talking about that when we were off the air. Ironically, we have our own Sleepy Ed in Noah Foster. We don't know if he's coming.
He is. He messaged the group chat saying he was on his way.
Oh, good. Okay.
You know how Noah is. He takes his nap, and then he gets woken up, and then he's got to power up his computer. He's probably got to go to the bathroom, get him a Mountain Dew, make sure he's all spiffy with his suit, and then he'll pop in here and join us.
I mean, you do have... I will say, by the way, you did forget a parenthesis, but it's okay.
I did?
You forgot a parenthesis in the title. It's fine.
Well.
See?
I was tired. It has been a long day for me. It's been a long day for you. If you don't want me to mess with you about your blunders tonight, then you probably shouldn't clown me for missing a parenthesis.
Well, listen, the idea of Shenanigans is we always give each other shit for blunders. It's the beauty of the show.
That's true. And the man who gives us the most shit, Noah Foster, Mountain Dew in tow. Noah, without saying, I'm tired. How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm tired. I still should be asleep. But regardless, two people aren't here for whatever reason. I'm here now. Get this stuff going. Oh,
yeah. For me, honestly, Noah, join the club. We all tired. We all did shit. It's been a fucking muggy day. Screw this heat. Oh my goodness. Oh.
James almost landed up in the land of Oz.
Oh yeah, Noah.
The question is whether or not he would have landed on a witch.
So this is true. Noah, you had a tornado watch in Ohio. We had a tornado watch here. It's not supposed to happen here.
Yeah, 5-day streak of gray, wet, rain, mundane nonsense. Yeah. I don't understand it either. Regardless, here we are. Oh, God.
Yes. And speaking of which, we already got a re-up membership there. 24 fucking months. He's been here for 2 years, the Dominguez is.
That's why when he messaged me last night and was like, hey, I want to say something on Shenanigans about this, And I messaged him back. I was like, dude, I'm probably going to do a whole separate stream on the releases. I had no problem bringing him and Arlene on because they have been down with us for a while, supporting the channel. Like it says, they're 24 months as a subscriber. And God bless them, because the members only section has seriously lacked. And the fact that they haven't unsubbed with the lack of exclusive content just shows you how devoted they are and how much they support the brand. So thank you so much to Emmanuel and Arlene, who's also a member.
Amen. Good on the Dominguez. The Dominguez, we're calling them now, right?
Well,
Dominguez.
we still call them Los Dominguez. But DJ made the joke last night that he was surrounded by Dominguez, and it just kind of took on a life of its own there.
I think it's
even
funny.
when Datilla popped in last night, I told her, and she like damn near spit laugh. She thought it was so hilarious.
It is funny.
Turn a name into a plural. Next thing you know, you're changing the English language as you know it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's just Urban Dictionary as it is now. What do you mean?
Well,
apparently, Chris had a tornado warning there in Georgia, but I feel like Georgia gets that quite a bit, just not Massachusetts.
Yeah, like Georgia, Alabama, like Mississippi.
The Southern Belt.
That makes sense. You guys are in Dixie Alley. Again, it ain't supposed to happen up here unless it's like in that weird ass fucking part of Massachusetts that has only field areas. Okay, sure. But like near Boston, greater Boston area to be under a tornado watch is like unheard of. The only reason it didn't happen is because the storm broke like right as it got here. And then it's just like, nah, we ain't gonna continue. Fuck it, I quit. That's the only reason.
Fair enough.
So,
well, I do want to get your guys' thoughts on the huge news that broke yesterday. Obviously,
yes,
me, Big G, Oofman from the No DQ team, Datilla, DJ, the Dominguez's. We already had our speaking on this, but y'all had other engagements to do. You had sleep. You had your uncle's doc. So I just want to give you guys the opportunity to speak your piece about the releases real quick. We're not going to go name by name, but if there's somebody specific who caught your eye that maybe, made your blood boil or you thought shouldn't have been cut, I'll give you an opportunity to speak on a couple of those, and then we'll move into the regular scheduled programming for the show. But Noah, I'll go ahead and go to you first.
WWE doesn't surprise me anymore. It's the reason why it's the most underwhelming company for me and my levels of passion for the business. If you're not marketable, if you're not some way manageable for the brand to expose WWE even more in the global organization efforts, they don't use you. If you're injury prone, you're going to be on the chopping block. So it is what it is. With a lot of people, you might as well call utility when it comes to the fact of how much they were used in WWE and their championship credibility since Black and Gold NXT. Very sad for several of them in general. Not very happy for any of them, because at the end of the day, you may not like a person, a character, you may not agree with the work ethic, you may not even be a fan of their wrestling, blah, blah, blah. But they still are trying to make a living, whether or not for a family or for themselves, and what they thought was their dream, and it was taken away from them like that for whatever reason. Budget cuts, spring cleaning, whatever you want to call it. So I hope they all bounce back. The nice thing is NXT, they have like the 90-day type thing, or 30-day, or whatever the heck it is. So
NXT is 30, main roster is 90.
Yeah, that nonsense, whatever. So at least that means they get a greater chance to try and bounce back somewhere else across this open landscape of wrestling. Some of those releases, again, based on how much they were just recently used interpromotionally, it was definitely surprising. But at the end of the day, WWE, they don't give an F. If you are not marketable enough for them, you are basically just waiting to be released for something else they want to make bigger than sliced bread. So I wish them all the absolute best. And it's just the nature of the business from the biggest over-glorified conglomeration in professional wrestling on the planet.
James?
Oh man. Okay, so mine might be slightly longer, but not by much here. I'm actually more surprised than most because when you look at the names of people that got released, there were things that were being done with some of these people, like Gigi Dolan. What? Like, that kind of shocked me because wasn't she on Stand and Deliver, even if it was on the pre-show in a tag match?
And TNA.
Like,
He was on in Rebellion too.
Yeah, so
Her and Jakara were both on Stand and Deliver and Rebellion, 2 pay-per-views in a week.
Yeah, so what?
And Cora was on Stand and Deliver as well.
Yeah, so that was maybe it was. I feel like there had to have been something they had planned, and Gigi must have had either something happen where she just wasn't in it anymore, or they've just really lost the plot. Because if it's the latter, that made no sense to release her, like none. Especially considering they were building up a faction. It seems like it was going to be, you know, the next Toxic Attraction, maybe to fucking fight Fatal Influence. I think that is Fatal Influence, if I'm not mistaken. I'm still kind of new to.
No, they were calling themselves Chemical X. They were kind of Powerpuff Girls-esque because you had Shotzi, Tatum, and
Right.
Gigi.
Yeah, that was a good fucking group too that they had going on there. Like, yeah, so that kind of shocked me. And then you had, what was the point of that damn whipping segment, by the way, with Eddie Thorpe? You do something with them, you do something controversial, right? For it to amount to nothing, and you just release them anyway. Like, that was just a waste of all of our times and a waste of a lot of people's aggravation if you're on Twitter. Hi, Spaces. How you doing? Riley Osborne. I mean, give me a break. Like, another Chase U guy gone. Which, by the way, makes zero sense because you just brought Chase U back. So why are you getting rid of people from Chase U at all? So that made no sense.
Well, let's not get Noah started on the resurrection of Chase U.
I know he's not the fan. But I think the point still stands. Why are you releasing people from a faction you're trying to bring back?
Because the people that were in the faction originally aren't going to be in the faction anymore. Think of it as like Saved by the Bell, the new class. Belding stuck around, Andre Chase stuck around, but new students.
The last two, I don't know. But Jakara Jackson, I thought she had a world of potential. They dropped the ball with her. Gallus, forget about it. I don't know how they dropped the ball with these guys. It's actually mind-numbing how they dropped the ball with them. Considering that you have this partnership with WWE, Joe Hendry showed up at WrestleMania, and you seriously couldn't bring back Gallus to feud with Joe to make something with, revisiting the prestige history that they shared in the Indies. There was something right there, or that they just not educate themselves because they really just stopped giving a fuck about Gallus. Which, by the way,
they did do something like that on last year in the crossover because I vaguely remember Wolfgang versus Hendry on an episode of Impact. Noah, does that sound right?
Yeah, they did Joe versus Joe at Great American Bash last year, and then dropped the Gallus thing altogether. And here I thought these guys were helping WWE evolve. If this is WWE evolving, then this is the new definition of spring cleaning. Because as they influx more athletes and more talents on that purple tubey nonsense, you're going to get more of this stuff probably every quarter.
Yeah, to be honest, I get it because, like, first of all, I get why they're doing it because if you look at what Hank and Tank did with Fraxium, I mean, goddamn, like that might honestly be one of the best tag matches I've seen from any company, period. And like, I don't even know how long. So I get it, but like, I mean, you can't find one use for Gallus.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, honestly. I hate to say it because they are a trio. These three are best suited for AEW, honestly, just because of what they got going on there. And especially considering they're trying to rebuild the trios division, signing a trio like Gallus. I'm not usually one for Tony to whip out the checkbook because we know how well that worked out last time. But in this case, I think you should sign these three because I think they could actually add something to your trios division. So, yeah. And then again, the other two, not as familiar with, but most of those names, even Cora, that's your girl, right? Cora's the one
Cora was the first person on the 2.0 when I started watching that drew me in.
Right. And now she's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for wasting his time. Thanks for wasting his time, who tried to doubt the Rainbow Bright era. Thanks for wasting my time for trying to be neutral. It just wasted everybody's time with Cora for what? Including Cora's time, by the way.
Well, and to Noah's point in his little rant, Cora was very injury prone.
Sure, but it's
she got injured, went out of action. It's okay, whatever. Came back from injury, and in a month, she was out injured again. And then they had to do the whole diversion thing they did with turning Roxanne heel.
Yeah, I guess.
Because the heavy speculation was Roxanne's push was meant for Cora, but she got injured again so quickly.
Wasn't
she? Was out for 9 months.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem again, though. Even with that logic, she's still valued as a tag team wrestler alongside Roxanne. And you need all the tag teams you could get for that fucking division, which you have struggled to make mean something.
I know. A lot of the women they cut were women that were in tag teams.
Dude, the women they've cut.
And I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, because whenever WWE does cuts like this on a Friday, they usually come back to it on the Monday.
Exactly. I mean,
and like I said, I don't want to go name by name here, but they cut Shayna.
Yep.
When Zoe gone.
Exactly.
They cut Gigi. Shotzi got moved to the alumni page. Her contract's not being renewed. So waiting for the shoe to drop on Tatum. They cut Caden and Katana. They cut Dakota. I think the rest of Damage Control is pretty safe because Dakota has been pretty injury prone, but so has Kyrie and Asuka.
Yeah.
So who's to say they're safe?
Nope. And it's bad.
It's crazy, but it is what it is.
It's too many people. You know what it is? I think it's the NIL talent that they're trying to make room for.
I think that has to do with a lot of it.
Yep.
NIL talent, the WWE ID talent. There's a lot of the talent that's on Evolve that could be already on NXT.
Hank and Tank proved that. Hank and Tank should have been on the main roster for time.
No. They're not main roster ready. But
in ring,
I'm talking about
ring,
the Evolve guys.
Yeah.
The Evolve guys.
Sorry.
Swipe Right.
Yeah,
Swipe Right have already appeared a couple of times on NXT television. They're going to be in the big battle royal next week to determine who the number one contender is for Obafemi, which they're not going to win, but they're in the match. So that tells you that they've got their eyes on them. So they bring them up to NXT, and then you've got room to bring more of this ID talent onto Evolve.
For me, I agree with you on Hank and Tank. Character-wise, they're not ready. But in ring, I'd say they're probably some of the best. They're right up there with some of the best tag teams right now. Their one match with Fraxium, goddamn did they show out. Again, highly recommend everybody watch it. I don't know the last time I've been impressed with tag team wrestling from any company, really. So, that really wowed me.
Ray J brought up something in his super chat. which I'll get to in a second, but it actually leads me to a little conspiracy theory here. If we want to put our tinfoil hat on for a second, because somebody online pointed this out yesterday, and it really kind of made me think. So Ray J's super chat for $5, and thank you, Ray J's World. Gallus helped Rock for Mania 40. Now, we've been hearing since going into Mania about this power struggle between Triple H and Rock. Yesterday was The Rock's birthday, and all these names were cut. Is it possible that Triple H and co cut all these people because they're going to look at TKO and the board like Rock is pulling this, especially with cutting a unit like Gallus, who helped him get ring ready for his tag match at Mania last year? You know, tinfoil conspiracy hat, could this be something that was done to try to get more heat on The Rock after The Rock kind of tried to pass the buck with everything that happened at WrestleMania and his interview on Pat McAfee?
And now
thank you again, Ray J, for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat, Ray J. Also, sorry for calling you JJ's father by accident, because now I realize you're not JJ's.
Yeah, no, that's Bali Man. That's my dad.
There you go. Cool. But okay. And this is why I have taken a break from Spaces. Some shit like this. Like, thank you for the super chat. But it's a pretty
sound conspiracy, is it not? Like,
unfortunately, you know, you would think
if they had done it on Thursday, on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Spring cleaning. But it was on Rock's birthday. Like,
yep.
They could have done it the Friday before. They could have done it the Friday after.
Yep.
They picked that day.
So here's the deal. This is all I'm going to say. You would think that after the bullshit that happened between between CM Punk and the Elite, that we would learn our fucking lesson. This shows you that this is not an AEW problem. This is not just a WWE problem. This is an industry fucking problem. Too many fucking egos will crumble and twist and turn a business just like that. You are now seeing the downfall of WWE's grace period because of this bullshit between Triple H and the fucking Rock. Like, it's already impacted what should be the second greatest heel run of all time since Hulk Hogan. I don't care what y'all want to tell me. Their bullshit has greatly impacted that shit. I don't care whose side of the fence you are. They're both immature just by fucking with the money like that. And Jesus Christ, like, now all these releases on The Rock's birthday, 3 of which were, you know, the people who trained Rocky to get ready. So, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Can we, like, grow up and stop being children? For fuck's sake. Yes, it is a fraternity. It's like a fraternity. That doesn't mean you have to take that literally. Grow up and be adults for once in this industry. You want to know why I don't watch Wrestling Weekly? Shit like this is why.
Fair enough.
God damn, dude.
Noah, any thoughts on that perspective conspiracy theory?
Nah. It just seems like a power struggle like anything else in this business when you got too much money with too many people under the same umbrella. Either goes one man's way or the other, and one's happy, one's not. It is what it is. Again, spring cleaning. Should have saw this type of act coming from WWE if you follow this company as long as I have, or you follow the business as long as I have, because they're the biggest proponents of it. And with addition of Evolve and WWID and their globalization efforts and acquiring other companies, expect more of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally down to the little things, just to your point, Noah, to add to it, as Rocky wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt in solidarity with them, and then, you know, Triple H and co buying AAA. Like, it's just literally like the whole mindset is split 2 ways. It is all over the place right now.
Yeah.
So, like, shit's.
Classic question: is WWE too big to fail? We've always said no. Well, the no is more emphatic than ever with TKO.
Yeah,
they're definitely too big to fail, in my opinion. Like, it would take something earth-shattering. Like, at this point, and I'm not wishing this, I'm not trying to put this out into the ether, but at this point, like, I don't even think Vince McMahon walking up and assassinating Donald Trump would kill the WWE.
Yep.
You know, it's just gotten that big, whereas that would destroy just about any other company, any other career.
Yep.
Vince is so old, he's out of the company. It wouldn't even phase anything. Like, that's, and it's crazy to say something like that.
Considering what had happened with the Benoit stuff, like
the Benoit thing didn't kill the company.
Yeah. If anything,
It's
should have
crazy.
that could have. So
It's
like, yeah.
crazy.
Again,
But anyways, let's move away from the negativity here now.
Yay!
I just, like I said, I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on it since you weren't able to be part of the thing last night. A lot of the people that are in the chat right now were there, got their thoughts out on it. So appreciate y'all sitting through the conversation again for only about 30 minutes tonight instead of 3 hours like last night. So God bless y'all.
Thank you.
So first thing I want to talk about is something that happened on Thursday night, happened on Impact.
Ooh.
And we saw Robert Stone come out to the top of the ramp with Victoria Crawford, the former Alicia Fox.
Oh.
And apparently Robert Stone is now being sent over there to keep his eyes on Santino Marella. And not only that, but Victoria Crawford is going to face Masha at Under Siege for the title.
Victoria.
Alicia Fox.
Oh.
I'm using her name because that's what she's going by now, but it's the former Alicia Fox.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I was thinking that, oh wait, she went back with her old running buddy from the Bromance without Jesse Goddard's. Like, they're just okay. I was very confused for a second.
This, I don't know what to say about this. Noah was getting riled the fuck up during the watch along this week. But it just caught me so off guard because, you know, we're living in a world now where we can honestly say never because our bingo cards have been more than screwed over the last few years.
Yep.
But what do we think this is leading to? Is this all just a plot device? Is this, you know, could there be something going on with Santino's contract, with everything that's been going on in TNA and Anthem and the cuts they've been making? You know, what I'm curious what people's thoughts are about this storyline ploy and the move here and where they think it's going to go, because it really caught me off guard.
I mean, it's better than fucking Noam Dar managing her again. Alicia, fucking awful, just downright awful.
Look, Noam Dar actually made me give a shit about him on that NXT after Mania, okay? Because I popped hard when he came back, and Noah will tell you I gave not a fuck about Noam Dar during the Metaphor era.
Did he come back as Supernova
Yes.
Noam Dar? Yay! Okay, yeah, that's his most over thing. That's why. Cool. Sorry. Okay. As much as I want to say chuck this in the bin, because Robert Stone has done fuck all in NXT, right?
He's just been an authority figure. He's been, you know, helping Ava.
Yes, sure. I do like the pairing that they kind of have stuck with, because I think that Victoria Crawford, I got to get used to that, the former Alicia Fox,
You
is
can just
not
call her Alicia Fox if you want to, if it makes it easier.
sure.
As long as you're not doing it on commentary.
Sure. For me, she was never a bad wrestler. In fact, she was actually one of the more underrated wrestlers that never really got a chance to shine, which is why I think she ended up kind of going mental, because I don't know if she knew how to handle that. For me, I'm kind of intrigued that they're going to give this push to Victoria, because, again, the woman is very underrated in ring. She was actually a hell of a worker during a time where there wasn't really that many great workers. And I don't think she ever got a chance to really show her true potential in ring. We know she could do good character work. I mean, that much is a given. But never got a chance to really wrestle. And I think in TNA, that's the perfect platform for her. I think she's going to nail it because, again, she's been clawing at the bit to get an opportunity like this. And at this point, it's sink or swim time, you know? It's the same thing with Ash. Nobody gave a fuck. Everybody said this shit sucked. Then she had the match she had, and everybody shut the fuck up real quick. I mean, kind of applying the same principle here. I'm going to wait and see how it plays out before I judge it. So I'm going to give it a chance because I think Alicia's been clawing at the bit to get a chance like this. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Alicia Fox is one that I always had personal issue with.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know her on the level that I knew the Bucks or Candice or anything, but I had a bad interaction with her. And I had more than one bad interaction with her. So you can't just chalk it up to, oh, she had a bad day. Oh, she was healing it up. No. This was way too more than one's type of occurrences.
Well, so
to the point where when you would go to like the SummerSlam Access, people would get in her line and the security would be like, you can go up there now. And they're like, no, we're waiting for the next person to come. Nobody cared. Like, that's how bad it was. As our buddy Nick joins us in the chat here.
Hi, Nick. It's me. I hear. Can I ask you this question, JJ?
Sure. And I am going to turn my camera off because I just got handed food, so I'm going to eat.
That's fair. What year would this have taken place?
I want to say this was like
all the years that you met her.
2010, 2011.
Uh-huh.
That general vicinity.
She wasn't getting used properly then. And then what was the other time?
Just that general range. I forget what year she came to the company, but we had SummerSlam for like 5 years out here from like 2009 to 2014. So I'd say between there, and then it was other events too. Like I remember going down to either a Raw or a SmackDown in San Diego and fans trying to get her to come over and her just being really bitchy to the fans and everything.
Was she a heel at the time?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
She pretty much was always a heel.
Yep.
She very rarely was a face, but like, you know how WWE is with their PR machine. Like, there's fans out there. You're not that cold-hearted to the fans.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's like you gotta. Again, I'm not saying she ain't no Mercedes, right? Goddamn, nobody's as ridiculous as her, but she is very much not used properly. Like, and she felt very slighted by that company for years, even before. So now she's in a place now, right, where she doesn't have that toxicity around her anymore. And again, she was also heavily fucking drinking, as we had later found out, to the point where they made her retire because she was physically drinking all the time. So there is that.
Is it possible that her negative attitude is why she wasn't getting used?
Could be. I think it could also go both ways, because you got to consider the management at that time was, well, people power. So, I mean, you hear the shit from, Ember. You hear the shit from Ember Moon, now Athena, and you've heard the shit from Alicia Crawford and even Mercedes, and you got women that have had, some of them are the bitchiest of bitchy to not so bitchy, and you kind of make a general consensus, maybe the problem is them. Just playing devil's advocate here, because, again, like, I can't imagine being in that company around the time where Noah knows, did not give a single shit about women's wrestling. Am I right or am I right? Wasn't exactly fun. And even when they started giving a shit, then they just did not use her at all during that time. So, I mean, shit. I don't think I'd be the best in a situation where I just felt like I was not wanted or misused or mishandled like that. Shit. I mean, we're all human at the end of the day. It's kind of the general point. We're talking about Alicia Crawford, Nick. We are talking about Alicia Crawford now. Well, Alicia Crawford. Victoria Crawford. Sorry.
Formerly Alicia Fox.
Thank you. Now with Robert Stone in TNA, even though he's on NXT doing a thingy there in favor for Ava. Shit like that. I don't know. But my hope is she'll at least be used better, and hopefully she will be less upsetty spaghetti with people going forward. Here's to hoping.
All right, Noah. You seemed to love this on Thursday.
I'm too tired to talk about this shit or rant about it tonight. This definitely changes my feelings towards TNA, and based on what this leads to, we will see what happens with my weekly Impact watch-alongs. Let's just see what happens, like James said. Like I said, after the friggin' heart thing yesterday and this gray mundane weather in my head right now, I'm too damn effing tired to really give a piss all about anything, especially stuff that pisses me off, because all that does is wear me down further. And besides, anything with WWE right now pretty much pisses me off to a degree.
Can't blame you after the drama within the office. I can't say I blame you right now.
Well, I'm not part of that Twitter drama nonsense. There were people are having a tribalism side that Team Triple H or Team Rock's right. If that's your life, go touch grass.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Well, you're one person that's actually being smart, unlike others.
Well, there's Walter, too. He touched grass. Touching grass is good. Although, it's not good to touch grass if it's wet, in which case it's probably raining outside going indoors. It's probably a bad thing.
I've had enough of Mother Nature's rain showers for 1 week. Anyway, yeah. See what happens. Maybe Mosh just smashes Victoria Crawford to the point she never challenges for the title again. I still say utter bullshit that you didn't follow up with the fatal influence thing. But what do I know? I don't book for WWE. And honest to God, I hope I never do.
By the way, Nick, what the fuck are you doing with this? I don't want to be a president. JJ, I damn sure don't think he knows anything about Britain to be a prime minister. And I know Noah wants nothing to do with being a part of the Supreme Court. Other than that one time.
Re-educating and redefining America with us at the helm. Let him humor it. It's not like in an alternative universe, the country can't get any more fucked up than it is. When you
this is also
somebody that literally is about to recreate Skynet as we know it.
this is also fair, but the only time we've ever had that work is when we were role-playing Law and Order that one time on the show. And you were the judge? Yeah, you were the judge.
Noah's always the judge. He's either the judge or the conscience.
We were the jury, and freaking JJ was the prosecutor.
This is true. Yeah. There you go. I don't want to be a president, by the way, Nick. Like, by the way, Nick, I wasn't even succeeded. I only have succeeded. Just because I succeeded with one goddamn skirmish does not mean I was successful everywhere else.
Hey, you succeeded with your uncle's documentary.
This is true. But, I mean, yeah, but it's not a lot of infighting. I think he's talking about that, to be fair. That's why he wants me as president. I don't want to be no goddamn president. It was stressful enough as it is. I almost goddamn did.
If this leads to some stupid mixed tag bullshit with Robert Stone, Victoria Crawford, and the freaking Morellas for freaking authority in TNA, lame.
Yeah, especially that's a weird combo too.
I mean, I could see it at Slammiversary. It's got to have time to build the story, though. Slammiversary is a big show.
Will Victoria Crawford finish her story?
It's amazing how much John Cena said Cody Rhodes is underwhelming. Look what's really underwhelming now. Anyway. See what happens, I guess, but this already has pissed me off a lot to the point I may go back to highlighting TNA Impact.
Why was I on solo shot?
Because you were cracking up.
I was, and then I was muted. So I thought that was my cue to stop laughing.
If you thought you were out of line, he would take you off the screen. But considering there's only 3 of us tonight, this might be the most tame for his mentality.
This is true.
For real. So,
I will say that Robert, he's got some stones.
God damn it.
And there it goes.
Trying to keep Noah sane here, okay?
All right.
Well, I only really have one other topic that I wanted to discuss tonight.
What? Oh, geez.
Maybe two. I mean, it's going very, very easy with it just being the 3 of us.
This is true.
Thank Christ.
And with Noah in his I really don't give a fuck. I'm just here because y'all need me attitude.
Yeah, this is true.
So making things a lot easier here to try to get through stuff, but
yeah.
I will mention this briefly because it was a little teaser that was thrown out there before I get to the last thing I want to discuss. You know, we've been following the journey now for a minute of young Izzy.
Yay!
We know she just had her birthday on Thursday. She is now 18. She now can sign for any company that she wants. She was at Disney World on her birthday, which I had to zoom in extremely close on the picture she posted to see the Walt Disney World instead of Disneyland on there, because when she posted that picture on Thursday, I'm like, TNA's out here. We've got the original park out here. Is she out at this Disney or the one in Florida? You know, conspiracy guy over here. Could we possibly see her show up at TNA that night?
Yeah. Who knows?
But then the next day she released this video on her X account, and it's definitely got me buzzing. So we're going to run that real quick and then we'll kind of chat about it.
Buzzing.
Most fans attend wrestling shows for the spectacle, the entertainment, and to get lost in the battle of good and evil. But no one told me that when I went to a pro wrestling event, it would change my life forever. When I was 8 years old, I told my parents that being a pro wrestler was my dream, and I needed to find a way to cross over the guardrail from being a fan in the front row to being a champion in that ring one day. But a dream means nothing unless there is action. So I went to work, because a dream without action remains, well, just a dream. So I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dojos just to get better in the ring. I worked in pro wrestling media just to be in front of a camera. School? Yeah, I finished high school early just so I can train full-time in professional wrestling. You want long-term storytelling? Well, this story has been 10 years in the making. And now, I'm not just crossing the guardrail, I'm tearing it down. For every person who ever looked at that ring and saw their future, I'm proof that it's real. That with heart, hustle, and hell-bent determination, you can turn the dream into destiny. This isn't just my story, it's my era. And I'm just getting started. But the real question is, where?
Yeah, she's gonna be a champion in 2 years, folks, in a major company. Like, it's done. Like, I'm watch. How is she that good, dude? Like, she just turned 18.
James, you should know by now, with the expectations of athletes with zero wrestling experience, according to WWE standards, someone with enough passion, dedication, determination, and discipline for the actual art and form of this business can do anything at any age. Nick Wayne, Billy Starks, and now Izzy Moreno is beating them both to the punch, and she isn't even signed anywhere yet. She's already the Mission Pro champion. The sky's the limit for her, and I can't wait to see where that pen hits on the dotted line for whichever company in this nation. Good luck, Izzy. You got this.
Yeah, no shit. Dude, that promo already, like, she already knows the business. She know how to leave you on a cliffhanger already. So, yeah, she's got a future in this. You got a future in this, kid, I guess.
See, and just for a little context, the post that she made said, let me see if I can read it here. I'm ready to evolve. I could be next or make an impact. Maybe I will become elite.
She knows what she needs to do. Keep your options open for everything. You're not determined by what three letters you go to. You're simply going after something in this business.
Something!
No!
The sky's the limit for Izzy Moreno. Good on her. Very proud to see that.
You know, I think I can honestly say I don't think I have ever, let me rephrase, I don't think I have ever wanted anything more for an individual that was not blood connected to me than I want for her to sign with a company.
Yeah.
I agree. We'll find out soon enough. The more that we keep following. Keep at it, Izzy.
I think this is going to be the story of 2025.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100.
That's far as the question front goes, at least for me.
I'm telling you, man. There's too many options there too. Like, she could. I think obviously the gimme is if she goes to AEW and dethrones Mercedes just to get her get back for all those years ago in NXT. Like, that would be the obvious one to go with, but do you blow it that early, or do you wait your time until either she comes back to the company or you finished up a commitment at another company to hone your skills more. So
That's a good question. I mean, you never know, and a lot of it depends on Mercedes. You know, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth her this time, but you know, by the time Izzy gets there, could Mercedes be wrapping up her deal? You know, I think she signed a 5-year deal. We're already in her second year.
Huh?
You know, because she debuted at Big Business last year in March. So we're now officially in her second year in the company.
It's already been a year, and now I feel older. Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
So by the time Izzy gets to AEW, if she goes other routes, is Mercedes even going to be there?
Yep.
You know? So if they're going to go that route, it almost seems like that would be where she needs to go first. And then you build to it. It's too short notice to do something like that at All In. Izzy's a Florida girl, so you would want to build to some kind of big Florida pay-per-view.
Yep.
You know, don't really know what else AEW has on tap for this year as far as locations and pay-per-views goes. To know if that's something that could be worked out by the end of the year, or if it would have to be something come next year. Does WWE want to let her be on the free agency market for that long?
Yep. That's a good point too.
You know, because WWE ID is now a thing. She could be working the indies. She could be the WWE ID champion. She could be on Evolve. She could be on NXT. She's not going to hotshot to the main roster, even though that's where Bayley is, and everyone wants that story just as much as they want the Mercedes story. They're going to make her do the grunt work, and she deserves to do the grunt work.
That's the way she wants to do it.
So,
now, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm curious. They definitely. I'll tell you right now, that was put together by her, so she already knows how to put together a promo and make herself like a bigger deal. So, you know, let's hope they don't discourage that. I feel like they would. She's put him in I will say this: she's put him in a position where they can't afford to screw her over. Any of these companies. Because she showed she can make herself get over on her own merit. And for her to know that at this stage of the game, this early on, like, that's fucking unheard of in this industry. It really is. So,
devil's advocate, though.
Yeah.
Is she truly getting over on her own merit? Or is she getting over on the fact that she's Bayley's super fan? Which means she's, at least to a certain extent, riding Bayley's coattails. So she's not truly getting over on her own merit. Devil's advocate there. And I'm not trying to throw any shade at Izzy. Everybody knows how much I love Izzy. I sat here, started crying again, watching that again.
Yeah.
Okay, coming on the air, I'm like, you know, getting all emotional watching it again. So I'm definitely not trying to throw shade, but let's call a spade here. Let's call a spade here. Is she really getting over on her own, or is she using the fact that everybody knows her as Bayley's super fan, even going as far as the gimmick that she portrays, the kids coming into the ring like she was able to do when she won the Mission Pro Championship, like Bayley did with her. How much of it is truly getting over on her own or piggybacking on what she's known as? Noah?
Everyone's got to start somewhere. It depends on who you ask. If you follow the Black and Gold NXT, you know from what. If you didn't follow the Black and Gold NXT, you're literally looking at another upstart of the business that's already done more than most people wish they could do at the age of 18 if they were a wrestling fan.
Okay, James.
I mean, I would agree that it might be just her writing coattails, but then she showed the video of like the work she's already put in. And like, that's what I mean. Like, when you're she already knows how to silence the naysayers in a classy way, to the point where like you can't refute the work she's put in already. It's kind of undisputed. Graduated early, took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, was a black belt in that, fucking still training to be a wrestler, so much to as like the beginning of 17, started a year early, already a champion. Like, she did that on her own merit. She already knows how to cut a promo, probably better than most people in the indie scene right now.
She's also at Steel Dominion right now, which is a steel school.
Yeah, okay. Which is no... Hey, if you know Ace Steel and you know the stories, that dude don't fuck around.
Well, everybody knows arguably his most famous graduate, so...
Yes. So, you know, when you're training with Ace Steel, that's no joke there. So, yeah, again, like she's already very smart with this. I'd agree with you had it not been for that promo. If I never seen that promo, I'd argue a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. After seeing that, I think it's on her own merit.
Okay. We did get a couple more super chats in, so I do want to get to those real quick. Going back to the Robert Stone thing really quickly, because I forgot to bring this up, but Ray J sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ray J. Says, I think TKO made an investment in Anthem. The Robert Stone story is a part of it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't like that eventually the WWE, and this is what it was leading to, they were going to purchase TNA. But you cannot blame WWE for that.
Right.
Because if it wasn't WWE, it was going to be AEW. All right? One of the two companies was going to have to buy them. You have nobody else to blame but fucking Anthem for that. Period. End of story. How long, Noah, have we been saying fuck that owl?
Exactly. I can remember.
So, I mean, we've been saying that since the broken Matt Hardy gimmick was fucked with by Anthem. Yes, has Impact done great under Anthem in the limitations that they've been under? Yes. Does that mean they have succeeded outside of the walls that they were in back in, say, 2009, 2010? No. Not even close. So you got nobody else to blame but Dixie Carter, Billy Corgan, and then after them, Anthem. They're the reason why WWE has to buy them out now, because Anthem made the shitty decisions that they fucking made. In the long term, we have now seen it has not worked out for them to be an independent company of their own merit anymore. So now the WWE or AEW or one of the two companies has to buy them. It is what it is. How long did I call that? When Scott D'Amore was first fired, I said, this is going to be a ripple effect for the next 2 years. And lo and behold, here we are, impending on the sale of TNA to WWE. I saw this shit coming a mile off. So, you know, what can you do?
Watch something else or just go along with it.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, there is. There's plenty of reason. The tape library alone, a lot of those guys cut their teeth in TNA. If for no other reason, the Young Bucks would encourage Tony to buy him just to stick it to fucking brother. I mean, and Tony to stick it to, you know, the brother of the brother, who is now trying to start a wrestling company that's real wrestling and with mats, and yet they're doing an NWO gimmick, and the less said about that, the better. So yeah, there's plenty of reasons. Even if they're petty, Nick, there's plenty of fucking reasons for AEW to want to buy TNA. Unfortunately.
We did get one more super chat from Emmanuel Dominguez. $2 says a $99 Mercedes fee to text her. Are you going to pay?
What?
Yeah, so yesterday or the day before, Mercedes launched a text hotline where for $99 a month, you can text message with Mercedes Moné. The joke going around the spaces is that West CEO was the first person to sign up.
Of course.
Noah doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why you're laughing like that. I do. Emmanuel, the only way I am paying $99 a month to text Mercedes is, one, if you send me a $99 super chat, then I'll sign up for a month just to tell you what it's like, so that technically you're paying it for me to deal with it.
That's some weird.
And then I'm probably going to troll her for the entire month.
Oh my God.
Just to see like how she responds to somebody that pays her that kind of money and then trolls her.
Yeah, that's... Dude. Just...
I mean, at the end of the day, it's no different than the WWF hotline back in the day. People calling, listening to recorded voices of wrestlers for $2.99 a minute for whatever it was, you know.
Fucking Mean Gene.
It's no different. It's no different than people that subscribe to the Wrestlers Only fans pages.
Yep.
Because none of them, I think Sonny is maybe the only one that I know of that actually showed anything really on their page. Most of them are like bikini pictures or implied nudity, where they'll be topless, but they'll have their hands over them, you know, so you can't really see anything. So it's like, it's no different than really following their Instagram. Just maybe slightly riskier pictures. If somebody is willing to pay it, and we know that Mercedes Moné has stands out there.
Yep.
Named one of the biggest ones. They're willing to pay for it. Good on her. Good on her. She's showing the fact that there is the supply and the demand for her. Whether we like her or we don't like her, or we think it's asinine, or we think it's a great idea, she's showing that there's the supply and the demand for it.
$99 a text is not worth.
No, for a month.
Even
not,
for a
not
month.
per text, but you get to text her daily, like multiple times throughout the day. You get access to her for a month.
Okay.
But everyone figures that it's not actually going to be her.
No
Some
shit.
kind of Autobot or some kind of assistant.
It's Optimus Prime.
Yeah, right. Hey, better than a Decepticon.
Yeah. It's a fucking Megatron. Fucking from Universal Studios, just roasted your ass for $99 a month.
The funny thing is, with AA, that's a very real possibility.
With AA, you made AI.
Yeah, that shit.
Now, Emmanuel's like, if it was Mini Monet, I'd be impressed.
This is true. I'd actually pay $99 just to text Mini Monet.
Oh.
I mean, it's closest I'll ever get to Harley Cameron. So
Safet, I'm not going to question how you know that. I'm just going to let that go.
Safet.
Another $5 from Ray J's World to Jay Hebert's worries. TNA just banned blading and heavy bleeding.
Yep. Yeah, I heard about that.
Which has always been a WWE thing.
Yep. So it gone. Enjoy TNA while you have it. It's not going to last much longer. At least under their own power.
The monopolization is impending. John Moxley.
Yep. Well, he didn't help. Anyway.
No, but at least he foretold basically what was already happening.
Did he do anything about it, or did he just do the same shit we've always done?
Well, sometimes people do so little with nothing. Sometimes people do nothing with so much. Also, you pathetic, weak-minded simpletons.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Well, for the Mercedes thing, like, okay. Like, here's the thing. I'm a frugal spender as is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a very frugal spender because just the situation I'm in. Everybody knows the situation I'm in. I made no secret about it with the rest of the crew, really. So, like, that's been my whole life. So, like, and I hear anybody paying $99 for anything for a month. I'm like, $9 a month is a lot of money for a month. Are you shitting me? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I get you, bro.
That's a bit much. It's a bit fucking much.
Yep.
Especially for that type of service. Like,
yeah,
I can get spending that type of money a month.
I
don't know. Like,
there's nothing that's good to spend it on. $99 a month.
It's kind of like how people were making the big deal about the SummerSlam tickets being like $40,000 or whatever.
It's a problem. Yes, and they price people out.
But if you really do your deep dive, and I forget who said this, I think it was in the Wrestle Collective space that I was in on Thursday, because I didn't do my own. But somebody had said that if you really do the deep dive, there's only like 10 of those packages available, and it's primarily designed for like corporate sponsors. It's not designed for the fans.
So it's
designed for the corporate sponsors to come and pay that type of money and get those type of perks. So
hang on. So in other words, you're saying she's getting a sugar daddy?
No.
That's what it is.
No, I'm talking about the SummerSlam tickets.
Oh. Okay. I was like, okay, that's different. Yeah, okay.
What I said, James, pay attention.
Okay, sorry.
Even as tired as Noah is, I think he was following me here.
I'm fucking... My brain gets...
But Noah doesn't even look like he wants to be here right now. And I think he still, like, understood what I was saying, bro. You're engaged in the conversation with me, and you didn't even follow. Like, come on.
Well, my brain...
But SummerSlam tickets, a lot of people were making us think about it being 40,000 tickets, but those are for corporate sponsors. But the bottom line here is, if somebody is willing to pay it, then why not try to get it? You always, anytime you sell something, even if you're just taking something, you're selling it at a yard sale, you're taking it to a pawn shop, you're putting it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, whatever, you're always going to try to get the most back on your investment.
Right.
And then if somebody wants to try to negotiate with you, then you can maybe negotiate.
But hear me out though.
So if somebody is willing to pay this $100 because they think they're getting this access to Mercedes,
I guess
I don't like her, but like, get your money while you can, girl.
But the thing with this is like, yeah, yes and no. The thing with this is you can in a yard sale. There's something useful. You know what I mean? Like there's
debatable. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Somebody's wanting to pay this. This is a treasure to someone.
Yeah, but like, okay, there's $100 at a yard sale for a fucking table, right? It's like it's a shitty beaten down table, but you don't have a table in your goddamn house.
No, I'm not paying $100 for a table.
So, and it's the cheapest option available, right? And it's like, well, I don't like it, but I'll buy the fucking table, and then you use the table for years. You get more out of the table than you do out of 1 month of conversation with Mercedes, is my point.
It just depends on who you are. We can always ask West CEO when he reemerges on X again.
Well, let's hope he don't, for obvious reasons.
Piggybacking on that, Emmanuel with a $2 super chat. Who is worth $100 to text a superstar of choice for you?
Nobody is.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. Let's put it like this, James. If you knew 100% you weren't getting some kind of AI bot,
yes,
and you knew that you were actually messaging the person, there is no superstar that you feel would be worth $100 a month to be able to tell your buddies, even if it's just for clout. Yo, man, I got John Cena's phone number, man. Me and him text on a daily basis. I got Roman Reigns' phone number, man. We talk all the time. Check out our messages.
I call Roman Reigns all the time. Like, Paul,
you know, there's nobody out there. You know, Will Ospreay.
If you
Mina Shirakawa, you wouldn't give $100 to know you're talking to Mina Shirakawa and talk to her for a month?
Not $100.
I might. Not gonna lie, we want Mina. I said, but that's only if I knew for a fact I was talking to her and not some bot, like in this situation.
And no person on the planet is worth $100 to
Dude,
text for a month.
That is like the JJ. That is the wildest shit you've ever said on this show. By like
look, there is a small part of me that really wants to go down the hill to Ontario, California next Friday to see Resurgence, just because Mina's going to be there.
I guess so. Oh my god!
I mean, Mercedes is going to be there too, but to go see Mina. And speaking of New Japan Wrestling and our other New Japan person, our Canadian friend, Ash is here. Hi, Ash.
I have a great question. I have a great question to segue into our new guest. Would you pay $100 if you were guaranteed a message from Zack Sabre Jr.?
And you could message him as much as you wanted for a month.
For a month. Do you think that's worth $100? Exactly. No. Exactly.
That's grocery monies. That's grocery money.
That's what I'm saying.
That's money on
okay, but look, but I don't think people that are spending this are people where it's like that $100 is going to hurt them. These are people that have expendable income. These are people that can go and buy annual passes to amusement parks and just pay it outright, not have to do monthly payments. These are people like Green Shirt Guy that is front row at every time they come around near him. These are people that go and travel and go to every pay-per-view. like these are people with expendable money, people that won the lottery and they're just throwing it away.
Well, as John Cena said,
You know, I don't think these are people
have
where
money
like, man, okay, I've done my budget and I've got an extra $100 left every month. Let me give that money to Mercedes so I can text message her. It's not those people. Because you never know when that last 100 you may need it for something, some expense going to come up. We're talking about people that have their rent, their bills, their budget all done, and they've got an extra couple thousand a month.
I guess
$100, it's not a big deal for them.
Sure.
If you had that kind of income, would you do it for Zack Sabre Jr.?
No.
Would you? Thank you. See, here's the thing.
She's not that frivolous type of person, though. I mean,
but
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, and I will own this about myself. I walk that line a lot between being frugal and being frivolous. You know, there are times when I will. Now I can't spend anything. I need to make sure I have money in my bank account. I've got to start stacking ends. I can't make this kind of purchase. And then there's other times when it's like, but you know what? I haven't done anything for myself for 6 months. Let me go ahead and throw $100 away on something frivolous just because I've been a good boy and I haven't done anything for myself for a while. I walk that fine line.
Be a good boy. Sure.
So that's why I say, like, there's a small part of me that wants to go down the hill looking into like buses and everything, how I can get there without it costing me an arm and a leg. Go to Resurgence next Friday. I ain't got to work next Friday. I want to see Mina, Asume, and Mercedes. That's the only match I really would want to go see. So yes, you're hearing me live on the air say I want to go see a Mercedes match. It's not because Mercedes is in the match, it's who she's fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I would be going would be for Mercedes' match.
Sure.
And that's crazy for me to say.
Well,
because the tickets are inexpensive. It's like $40 for a decent seat.
Not bad.
Because the arena is a hockey arena, so it's not a huge arena.
Yeah.
It's like a mid-size arena. It's a minor league hockey arena. So there's not really a bad seat in the house. And $40, you're in like the 100s. There's floor 100 and 200. That's it. So you're like middle of the arena.
Some people flaunt it. Some people waste it. People do what they wish.
Exactly.
It's like what my dad says, don't be spending money on stupid shit unless you deserve it.
And everyone deserves some stupid shit every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to spend your money on Mercedes Monet for $99 a month, we may question your judgment, but we can't sit here and tell you not to, because we've all spent money on stupid shit at some point or another.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. Like, I think the last dumb thing I spent money on was the $75 Daryl plush that I bought from New Japan.
See, for an extra $25, you could have been text messaging Mercedes for a month.
Nah, it ain't worth it. I like her, but not that much.
I'm just saying, $75 for a plushie, like, that's a lot of money.
Listen, as John Cena
Listen.
As John Cena said, you don't make money by spending money, okay?
That's fair.
Just saying. Now, if we're like astronomical levels of money, all right, yeah, maybe. But it would be like if I'm in like the fucking 10 million or 1 billion mark, all right, yeah, sure. But like, nah, man, if I'm making like enough to survive the whole year, then probably not. I'm gonna be real. To those who pay. Well, it's better than paying for the Young Bucks. Am I right? Because Bucks.
And we love you for that, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Pays $100 a month for the Simply Reliable brand because of his karaoke donations.
This is true.
Right, the super chats alone.
And he does not regret his decision.
Yep. I agree.
See, and we're more entertaining than Mercedes. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard. That's a pretty low bar, bro.
Moving on.
Jennifer Pepperman, how you doing?
Moving on, James.
All right. Sorry, last thing.
There is only one other thing that I really wanted to bring up and discuss. And I'll let Noah go first here since he seems like he also wants to be here. He can go first. And now that we have our Canadian friend, if he wants to dip out, he can and go back to bed. So, and then it'll be me, you, and Ash for a bit, James. And if we get any more super chats, then cool. If we don't, we don't. But so, and it took me a little bit to put all this together. So I hope you guys commend some of the work that I've done on this, even though I'm going to admit I've forgotten some of my bullet points because I didn't write it all down because of everything I've had going on. But this goes back to a week ago with Zelina Vega dethroning Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. Another move that I know disappointed Noah heavily.
Still does.
And then the next segment was the return of Aleister Black. And then I was watching an interview that Zelina did with Dave LaGreca and Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open. I was watching this, had to have been on Thursday. I think the interview was actually conducted Monday or Tuesday, but I watched it on Thursday as I was doing laundry, getting everything together to move to the new place. But listening to her talk and everything, and this may be a heavy claim, and especially since, like I said, I know how Noah feels about Chelsea losing, but could this possibly be one of the greatest stories ever told? And what I mean by that is this. You've got Thea Trinidad, You've got Zelina, who's cut her teeth, did her time in TNA. She came to WWE. Aleister Black did his thing, made his way to WWE. They met, they fell in love, they were fired. She was rehired. He became All Elite, did his thing. She kind of did her thing with the LWO. Had that big moment backlash in Puerto Rico. One Queen of the Ring prior to that, first ever Queen of the Ring. But for the most part, from what I saw, they never really did all that much with her. Queen of the Ring was just kind of like a title, like King of the Ring is. She played into it a little bit, the footage that I saw, because I wasn't watching when she won. But they didn't really make it a huge deal. I think she had a tag title run in there at somewhere. But with the exception of that moment at Backlash in Puerto Rico, that was like the culminating moment of her career until this. And then she was largely forgotten. She was in the background with the LWO.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow shorter than Rey Mysterio. Go figure that one out. And then out of nowhere, she starts getting this push at the beginning of the year. She dethrones Chelsea Green the same night her husband returns to the company. She's able to come backstage from winning the title walk right into his arms and embrace him before he goes out there. And then she's talking to Tommy and Dave LaGreca about now that she's in the city, in the studio to talk to them, which she always told Tommy that if she ever won, she'd come to the studio to do an interview with them. So here she is in New York doing this in-studio interview with him. And the first thing she was going to do after she left, and this is where it really hit me, take the title to the 9/11 memorial and put it on her father's name.
I don't know.
And that really hit me because it's like, I don't personally know anybody that died that day, but I know via like extension because, and you're a hockey guy, 2 of the King Scouts were on those planes. So it's like via extension with my Kings fandom and becoming family with some of the people within the franchise, I know of people, but I didn't know them. So for somebody to have that kind of moment, it's just like that really sat with me a little bit. And I'm standing there folding laundry, listening to this. And much like I said about the Izzy video, I'm trying not to get emotional listening to her tell this story. And it made me really wonder, like, is this not one of the greatest stories to come from almost like a Cody Rhodes, undesirable to undeniable now that she's the champion? Noah, I said I'd let you go first. That way, if you want to dip out, because I know you're tired, bruv, you can. Go ahead.
Touching. We'll see if she's transitioned or not, but I could see that the moment had family values. I won't take anything away from family values. Very touching. Still irrelevant jack shit when it comes to the championship, though.
Yep.
Noah, do you want to go ahead and dip out, brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go do that.
I was going to say, you're completely free to go, man. I don't want to hold you here any longer. I know you put yourself on that little time constraint anyways to try to be in bed by a certain time. I know you've had a rough last few days with your doctor's appointment and all, so please, by all means, let me go ahead and throw your graphic up there real quick so you can tell people where to find you. I know you've got Simply Predicting next week, so you can tell them about that.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that matters when it comes to me. Follow the friends here. That's more important, all right? Follow Bad for Wrestling. Follow Rage for Wrestling. It's not about me. It's about wrestling. Yes, I'm tired of fuck. Yes, it's been a long week. Yes, I'm frugal. And yes, I was definitely not in the mood tonight. But I'll probably be better soon enough when the sun shines and I get some proper sleep and don't have to stress about anything too. For now, I bid you a fine adieu. Until the predicting in Kenny Omega fashion, another great Canadian, as wonderful as Ash. Goodbye and good night.
And may the 4th be with you, Noah.
Fuck that shit.
Don't forget, there's also Revenge of, what is it, like Return of Revenge of the 5th?
Revenge of the 5th, yes.
That's what it is, okay.
And then
overrated Star Wars meme.
Good night, Noah.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be.
And then there were 3.
Okay. So here's my only retort to everything that you just said.
Uh-oh, here we go.
It would mean something if it happened on the goddamn WrestleMania card. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Since that's where you wanted to go and I knew somebody would. What match do you take off of WrestleMania then to make that bet?
None. Add it to the fucking pre-show like you should have in the first place.
So then it's not on the WrestleMania card, it's on the pre-show.
It's not on the Mania card, but neither was the fucking pre-show match for Stand and Deliver, and it still banged, correct?
Okay, but you just said it would matter if it was on the Mania card. But then you said put it on the pre-show, which isn't part of the Mania card. So
here's the thing.
Here's a better question. What match do you cut short then? Just so that it can fit on the main card.
Well, they don't want to cut any match short. This is the problem. This is why.
How does it fit on the card then?
exactly.
Okay.
That's
So-
the devil's advocate there, James. That's the whole point. It's like you either have to cut something short or you have to replace something. And what do you either cut short or replace to squeeze that on there? And then you run into well, then why doesn't the women's Intercontinental title get the same respect?
That too, yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Buy the shirt.
Yes, I agree with that in a sense. However, the women's Intercontinental Champion was at the very least in the semi-main event with a prominent star, even though they hot-shotted the turn. And they won the tag titles on that night, and she became a double champion for a measly 24 hours. Still happened. So, again, if you keep it to only one match on the fucking pre-show, I think the pre-show matters. I think it adds to the fucking experience. I think you should have added that match to the Mania card as the pre-show to open the entire night for Mania. Started off with a nice feel-good moment for the fucking crowd, for everybody to see. Get some last-minute buys. What's more last-minute buys than seeing somebody get their championship win and cut the promo she does after?
But nobody buys the pay-per-views anymore. They're all free on Peacock.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Get more eyes, I guess.
But I'm just trying to counterpoint you here, James. Don't get so frustrated. But here's the other thing. A lot of times during the pre-show, people are still filing into the venue, trying to get to their seat, trying to get to concessions, trying to go to the souvenir stand, trying to go to the bathroom. So you run the risk of people missing it anyways.
This is true. But my hope is that most would be in the arena for witnessing it anyway.
That would be the hope, but you're not guaranteed that.
Now,
out of the 63,000 that were supposedly there, maybe you've got 40,000 in their seats, which is still decent, but everybody doesn't see it.
Here's my deal. If we're going to be honest.
And how many people would use it as a bathroom break match anyway?
Probably. So my argument then, if you're going by that argument, is fuck it, put the women's tag in the pre-show spot and put the fucking women's US title in the spot so Selena gets her moment.
So now you're having Becky's return on the pre-show?
I was about to make that very same statement, yes.
It might as fucking well have been the way they hot-shotted this goddamn angle.
I'm
going to be honest.
I'm just making counterpoints.
No, I get you.
There's very little, if anything, that you really could have cut.
Yes, but that's why you add at least one match to a pre-show which has no fucking matches like NXT Stand and Deliver did, which actually added to that fucking card because that match, as I said, banged. And quite honestly, all the women's matches on that fucking card banged.
And honestly, I think that's the only reason why it was on the pre-show is because the women's division is so fucking stacked they couldn't have a show without those women on it.
Exactly my point. So why don't they give the same respect?
Because you can have a show without Zelina and Chelsea.
You could. Does it make it right? No.
No, but you can't have an NXT PLE without Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
You can't have an NXT PLE without Lash and Jakara. Well, now you can because one's been released, but you can't have a PLE without Gigi and Tatum. You know, like
one of them was released.
Those were key factors to the storylines and the development going in. So at that point, when Stand and Deliver happened, it was hard to have a pay-per-view without those people.
But
you don't see Zelina Vega on every PLE.
This is true.
You don't see Chelsea on every PLE, so you can have a PLE without them.
Without them, for sure.
And you need something for the SmackDown after Mania to get the crowd hot.
Sure. My argument still, even with that, is if you built it and actually gave a fuck about the women's mid-card title scene to begin with, you could justify at least having them on the pre-show. If you actually gave a fuck and built it and made people care about it and actually improved on Chelsea's character. Because goddamn, that woman is the hardest working woman in that company for literally little to no reward as a result. And I think that's horseshit. That's number one. Here's one that I know. I'll give you another prime example of this. Here's one I feel the same way about the tag team title scene for the men. Because there's no way that the New Day should have even been on the second match with the way they've been built, but they should have been on the card, and they should have built them up way better than they did after the heel turn for Big E, especially if you're just going to have them win the tag titles any fucking ways. And you should have had that TLC match that happened on the SmackDown before Mania on that fucking card too. And that should have actually been in the number 2 spot on night 1 of Mania in replacement of the New Day. New Day should have jerked the curtain in the pre-show in night 1 with the way they built them. I love the New Day. They deserved it, but goddamn. Day 1 Mania, there was traffic. We barely got there in time. Well, then, fucking.
And they're not the only people that I've seen had issues that day too. So.
Okay, so basically, so here's
you're talking about weekend traffic in Las Vegas.
Okay, so here's where it comes down to then. You need to cut some of these fucking ads. I mean, goddamn, you don't need every ad on every show. I'm sorry, this is getting.
I agree with that.
I think that's the problem ultimately, because I guarantee if you did that, you could have fit the TLC match in there, and you could have fit the Chelsea match on the main fucking card. That's what needs to happen.
That I will agree with.
Cut at least 4 fucking ad breaks. You don't need 4 fucking ads. Like, it's not even... like, I'll be honest with you, right? I watched it on Peacock. I think my dad has a downgraded version. I didn't even get to see any of the fucking promos when I watched Mania. So now it's just become Adamania. That's the only reason why they won't do it is because Peacock has them by the fucking balls. Dude, the day they get off Peacock is the day I'm way happier. I'm going to be real with you. Because that means they won't have to answer to these fucking ad whores that pay exuberance amount of money to advertise their shitty products on the show. And look, I understand why they need to. I have no issue with them getting their bag. My issue is that they just make the whole show about fucking advertisements.
That I agree with.
It's bad.
That I agree with.
So, honestly, it comes down to if you're going to have that many ads, you have to put at least one match on the pre-show, even if not everybody's going to see it. If you want people to see it, then you need to cut ads. And as Noah kind of eloquently said before he, unceremoniously fucked off, shit, man, like, they care more about the dollar than their own fucking people.
That's true.
This is, by the way, that's not just a WWE problem. Before any AEW head or before any WWE heads come at me, this is an industry problem because it happens in AEW too. Do not let them fool you. Whole industry needs a fucking overhaul with how they treat their fucking independent contractors. Quite honestly, shouldn't even be independent contractors. Anyway, sorry, you're supposed to be happy, but I'm sweaty and tired myself. But it's okay.
All right.
Soapbox
with his little rant there.
There you go. You got a. How long has it been since I've done a rant now?
It's been a minute because you've been MIA on the spaces, except for ripping me a new one last week. So
this is true. This is true.
Was that? That was like Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning.
Yes.
My time.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Hey, listen.
No, that was
everybody
Wednesday. That was Wednesday because I didn't work. I didn't have to work Thursday.
Hey, everybody worked their shit out. That's all I give.
Yeah, that's the important part. That's the important part.
But anyway, even before that, God, I don't even know when the last time I ranted about anything was because I'm like, I don't like getting angry. I like being happy, James, and like joking about shit and talking about whatever the fuck MJF was doing and something. I don't know.
Well, we did get another $5 chat from Ray J's World, who kind of agreed with what you were saying there, saying that the SmackDown TLC match that Matt and Bubba praised should have been Mania as well. And I definitely think that the War Raiders New Day match should have been swapped for that.
Yep. Yeah. And by the way, it is not the New Day's fault we are saying that. Let us be very goddamn clear on that. That is all on that booking because they were handed gold and they somehow turned it into goddamn goose shit.
Agreed.
Like, holy shit. That was horrific. I would have had a field day with how they freaking did that. I've been like, okay, well, I got your next 6 months planned out, and we got a new third heavy for you. Let's make this work. And just a whole lot of nothing later. Like, god damn. Anyway. Ash, what did you think?
Sorry?
What did you think about Chelsea's losing the title?
Zelina's whole story there.
Yes, Zelina's whole story, Zelina's moment.
It's very touching. I got emotional to it because goddamn, I love my dad.
Yeah.
I am a fucking daddy's girl. So just like that was like very sweet, touching moment. And I'm just wondering like who they have other than Chelsea, who do they have Selena go feud with? Because it looks like they haven't like really lined up any opponents for her. And also that's the same thing with Chelsea's run as well, because they didn't really line up opponent for her. Although to be fair, Chelsea doesn't really need the title because she's over on her own as a character.
This is also true.
Whereas Selena might need the title because without it, she's not really that, I hate to say this, but relevant. And maybe having her be like the workhorse champion, it increases her stock a bit.
That's fair.
That is, if they do have opponents lined up and ready for her, which they haven't been doing a good job of doing, though, sadly.
Here's the
That's
problem.
because everybody on SmackDown in the women's division is involved in the main event picture right now.
Yeah, that.
Jade, Naomi, Tiffany, Nia, Charlotte, Bailey.
Here's the other problem with everything that you just mentioned too, Ash. All the women they just cut could have been challengers for that fucking title, but they decided to let them go. Which goes back to what I said about the tag team division and why the fuck would you release Cora Jade when you need all the women you could get for the tag team and women's divisions.
Although, in fairness, I can see why they released Cora Jade and Dakota Kai. They probably felt like they weren't staying healthy enough for them because think about all the injuries that they've had, which is really kind of sad. And hopefully once the no non-compete clause comes up, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to find work. Where? Who knows? But they're not going to be without a job much longer.
I guess, but then why are you at this point? If you're treating it like that, then get rid of the women's tag and the women's mid-card titles. At this point, all of them.
Well, the tag titles I can remove, but at least with the mid-card titles, you can make the argument that it's the workhorse title. It's a way to get the women on the television, getting them like little mini feuds for them that way. Right. And hopefully, if they do a good enough job of like rebuilding the mid-card, use it as a vehicle to push the other. So if depending on how well the run is and the reign is, that person who was IC champion or US champion should be next in line for whatever brands they're on the women's title.
This is also accurate, but this is why I'm saying the more bodies for those divisions, the better anyway, which is why you shouldn't be releasing women. You should actually be utilizing these women's in said divisions. Why Natalya isn't in this division is beyond me. Why Shayna wasn't in this division is beyond me. Why Zoe Stark, who is supremely underrated, isn't in this fucking division. If you're really going by workhorse standards, I don't know why she's not involved in that, because he knows. He's seen how good Zoe is in the ring. So, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? Like, it's bodies are needed for these divisions. If you're not going to have said bodies, then get rid of the titles.
Or you can call up the NXT people who are ready, which it looks like they're doing because Roxanne's been on there.
NIL
Julia's been on there.
Yeah, NIL, WWE ID, Evolve Prospects, TNA crossover, and AAA crossover. You have a lot of women at your disposal now. Why aren't you doing fuck all with these titles? Come on. The only one that's doing it right now, even with the releases they just had, I'd argue is NXT. That's it.
Who?
NXT.
Oh, NXT. Sorry, I didn't hear.
That's
what
it.
You said, sorry.
That's it. And again, happy for Selena because as a person, she deserved it for the most shit she's ever gotten from that company. If anybody deserved it, it was her. You're not going to hear me say anything else about that. I just wish it meant more to the general public, but because of how WWE books it, it didn't.
Right.
That's my
That's
bitch.
the point I was trying to make is that they need to get a creative rehaul, like do something to make these titles more important. Because they have the people there. They have more than enough people there to make it like the workhorse title it is in, like it should be.
Yes.
Because that's the whole reason. I'm pretty sure that's the whole reason why they got these mid-card titles is so that they can have like these mini feuds and use these mini title runs to help prepare the women getting to the main event scene for their respective divisions on their respective brands.
Gail Kim can run it. She's a phone call away. Just saying.
Which they're not doing right now. You can make the argument is that that's what they were trying to do with Lyra, but it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I'll give it time because they just started this Becky program.
Yeah.
As hot-shotted as it was, you're not even going to hear me deny that, but give it some time.
Yeah.
Because, again, they just started that. So at least they're doing one title right for now because Becky is a big enough name where, you know, her and Lyra are, you know, they're going to have a banger because they had a banger for the NXT World title.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. Once Lyra's done with Becky, who do they have next in line for? That's another issue we have with the women's mid-card titles.
Yep.
I know I'm looking way too far ahead here, but that's how my mind works.
Yeah, that's mine too. That's mine too.
Like, I want to try to focus on the now, but also prepare for what's next as well.
Mm-hmm.
While also enjoying both things.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's the problem ultimately, man. Like, I want to enjoy women's tag wrestling. I want them to actually give a shit about the tag and the mid-card belts, you know, and not just not give a shit.
Right.
And I feel like that's been their biggest crux is, and I even said that, if they can't even book a tag team division right, what the fuck makes you think they're going to do that for the mid-card title?
Mm-hmm.
Called that a mile off too, unfortunately.
Yeah. At least with like the mid-card titles, it's singles focus, which is what they've been doing quite a bit as of lately. Whereas the women's title, it's like 10 years, like 10 years too late.
Yeah.
Like the perfect time for WWE to have those women's tag titles was in the Divas era when there was like a shit ton of tag teams. That was like the perfect time right then and there because you had like a bunch of teams there. You had the Bella Twins, you had the Divas of Doom, you had the Blonde Bombshells team of Kelly and Taryn Terrell, who was known as
I forgot about that actually.
Even Alicia Fox. I think they were a team at one point. Lay Cool,
yeah. Yeah, but even then, they wouldn't have fucking done it right. Especially then in the Divas era. Holy shit.
Right, but at least there's a reason for them to be a team. Other than just to be randomly thrown together and be like, here, do what you can with the time you're given. At least with the tag titles, there was purpose with them being a goddamn team.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. Should be the way there. I've said it over and over again.
Right.
Like, and JJ has been witness to it. others have been witness to it. It's none of the women's fault that they're being given the position they're given. I legitimately could do a better job with this fucking division. All of the divisions. I could do a better job. And I don't think that's arrogant to say. It's just, it's not hard to book, folks. It's hard to fucking finance. For real.
Yep.
Like, we need to give a fuck about these divisions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, please stop wasting our time and just cut them. Because at this point, you're doing the same things with them without the titles being at play anyway. Hence why we have all the women that have just gotten released.
It's the women's mid-card titles. It's still pretty early for them. Tag titles, it's been like how many years at this point, and it's just like it's like too little too late at this point for the tag titles. I'm at the point where I'm thinking, as sad as it sounds, retire the titles. And that's the word I was looking for when I super chatted last night. When I said removed, I was like, what's the word am I thinking of? I can't think of it. It's retired. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, retire. Yeah, that's
and it's really sad, but at the same time, it's just like, if you don't care about this, then why should I?
Yeah, and why are we coming up with better ideas than the supposed creative team? Like, for real. I mean, I'm like, again, NXT's doing it right. They're the only ones doing it right. And even then they, took a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jesus Christ.
All right. Emmanuel did send a $2 super chat, but Emmanuel, I'm going to need you to elaborate in the chat what you mean, because some of it I don't understand. But he says, if you were Triple H, how would you fit stars who stop use? I'm not sure. Emmanuel, if you can just explain what you mean there in a chat, then we can get to that a little bit better. I know you get only so many characters when you do a super chat like that, so. Don't use.
Oh, got you. Okay.
If you were Triple H, how would you fit stars in that they don't use?
It's really not hard. It's really not hard.
For starters, you can create some goddamn tag teams to help beef up your division.
Uh-huh.
That's for starters.
Like, it's not, like, dude, I have been called a genius booking. He has now just gotten the fucking credit recently. It's not genius. It's called common sense. It's really not hard.
And I have said for years, if common sense was common, more people would use it.
So, like,
I think that might be the first time Ash is going to be saying that. I was waiting for a reaction.
Oh no, because I've heard that saying before from my dad. My dad has said that too.
It's very old people saying, but it's true. I don't care.
Considering I'll be 50 next year, I'm old people.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They just released a fucking tag team in Dallas that they could have just used to beef up one of these fucking divisions. But no, we couldn't do that. No, we got to release them too in a fucking barren-ass tag division.
To James's point, we just released a shit ton of women that were involved in tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you released the entire Pure Fusion Collective. I don't care.
No, Zoe is still there.
Give it time.
For now.
Give it time. So you have all these fucking people. Dude, it's as simple as this. If you need to, build factions around everybody. This is what New Japan does. New Japan does it. It actually fucking works if you do it right. AEW take note.
Their booking is a lot different than North American booking. That's why it works.
Fair enough, but you could still have the same principle apply. You know how? Hey, one person goes for the fucking women's world title or mid-card title. If you want to make a 4-horse women faction again, one goes for the world title, one goes for the mid-card title, one goes for the women's tag. Ain't that hard. Really ain't that
I
hard.
brought this up during the stream last night. Ash, you may remember me saying this. If you were in there for that part of it, but it mind numbs me how they didn't think of this stable. To your point, Shayna Baszler, Queen of Spades, Natalya, Queen of Hearts, Charlotte, the Queen, Zelina, the Queen of the Ring, the Four Queens.
Yeah. It's easy to do. It's so easy to do.
Charlotte, your women's champion. Zelina, your mid-card champion. Natty and Shayna, your tag champs. And you just created a fucking 4 horseman evolution stable. Everyone's got gold.
Yep. It's
division on lockdown.
It's legitimately not difficult to do. It's not. They just
The closest
choose
we
not
got right
to.
now is Chelsea and the Secret Hervis.
It's not hard. They can do it. They choose fucking not to.
Mhm.
And if you think that's not the case, I've had too many disappointments in my life to show me that it isn't.
Yeah.
Just fuck, man. It's common sense that people should be using, to JJ's point. Why are you cutting women? Why are you cutting tag teams in barren divisions all over the company? That makes zero fucking sense.
Look, I don't claim to be some huge journalist. I don't have a journalist degree. That's why I've never applied for WWE Creative. They want you to have all these college degrees and experience and whatnot. I'm just a fan. All we are on this channel are fans. None of us are professionals from the business. Not like some of the other streams that you can see where Vince Russo or whoever is talking to you and they've got insider knowledge. But as fans, we can bring a certain perspective that the people inside the bubble don't see because they're so tight inside that bubble. They see what's in front of them. As spectators, we see in widescreen format, they see in standard format. That's the best way I can think of to describe it.
They're thinking short term, not so much long term.
And we're thinking long term because we're seeing the full scope of the picture, not what's been shrunken down to fit our television screens. So we're looking at things in the backdrop that could potentially tie into something down the road. You know, they need to, here's a prime example. And people on social media have pointed it out. We've pointed it out. Lots of people have pointed it out. But I've never heard a WWE commentator point it out. Every person that Cross interacts with turns heel down the road.
Yep.
We all see it. We all point it out because we see the grand scope of things. Michael Cole's supposed to be the fucking GOAT. Why hasn't he ever pointed this out on commentary? You know, why don't we ever come back to Cole and McAfee or even fucking Tessitore and Barrett, whichever show? Why don't we ever come back to them after a Cross segment and like, you know what, Wade? Everybody I've seen Karrion and Cross interact with these last couple years ends up losing their way and turning down the road. Could so-and-so that he just talked to be the next prospective victim?
Yeah.
Why is this not mentioned? We see it. Do y'all not actually see that because you're so tight-knit in your own bubble? Or do you just think we're so fucking dumb that we don't see it?
Yeah, that, and therein lies the problem. Like,
yeah, acknowledge that we're smarter than you think we are.
Like, that's the thing, too. It doesn't, I'm not expecting everything to go our fucking way all the goddamn time.
But we can bring these perspectives to the stories that'll help with the character development, which will help get these people over to the fans and make them give a fuck about them.
Yep. You don't need...
Karrion Kross, no one cares about Karrion Kross. But I'll bet you money that if you started pushing that narrative, people are going to start caring more when they see him backstage.
Yep. I mean, he just cut one of the best promos of his entire career, and it was on the post-show of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing almost fuck all with it.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we, like, it's just an example, right? He just cut a promo on the guy in the suit and tie. Whoever, whether he's talking about Dwayne or fucking Hunter, who the hell knows at this point? I don't know, because of the fucking nightmare going on backstage. So, why isn't he? Since he also cut a promo, he's actually giving fans credit. Why isn't he turned babyface like The Miz almost turned babyface back in 2016 when he cut a similar promo? Why is he not, after that promo, why did you not air that promo on a Raw or a SmackDown and have him go for the fucking championship? Knowing, we all know he'll lose, right? He's not going to fucking beat Cena. But if he can have the fucking effect that he's had, maybe Karrion is the reason he comes back, of all fucking people, to the good side. Hello?
It's very much the old tale of Faust and the deal with the devil.
Yeah.
And just for perspective here, because I Googled this while you were talking, the first published version of that story was in the 1500s. This is a story that is embedded in culture for 700 years. 600 years? Something like, come on. People know the story of Faust and the deal with the devil. All you got to do is allude to that on commentary.
Again, guys, it ain't hard, and I think the reason why there's so much discourse is because there are people that still give a shit and want this industry to fucking succeed. Mm-hmm. And the ultimate problem is the management's egos get in the fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an industry-wide fucking problem. See your Anthems, see your Tony Khan, see your Young Bucks, see your Triple H's, see your fucking Rocks. It is an industry-wide fucking problem. And then, as a result, the toxicity in the IWC becomes afoot. And then people take breaks because they need to take a break. Hey, I've taken like 15 millions of fucking breaks during my time on the fucking internet because of this shit. How you doing? But I'm not going to just stay fucking silent about it anymore. This is the fucking reality. It's an industry-wide problem. Mm-hmm. These management people do not have your best interest. I don't care if you're a wrestler in the business or you're a fucking fan watching this shit. They don't have your best interest, because if they fucking did, everything that we have said, everything that a lot of people said, hell, everything Adam Blompied said, and by the way, he just came back with a fucking video recently because...
Oh, I heard.
Everything that he said, if they fucking took the ideas of the fucking IWC, if they took the fucking, before it was even called the IWC, if they actually took these ideas and ran with the shit and not fucked with it, with the exception of trying to add to make it better, hey, I bet you the company in the industry would look a lot more prosperous. And we wouldn't have to be fudging up numbers and fudging up fucking tickets and attendance sales, and also or on the opposite spectrum, downgrading arena sizes and having to just pretend like everything's all hunky fucking dory. Right. I mean, I don't know, just a fucking thought, guys.
No lies detected.
I'm sorry, but like this is the reality. Let's call it for what it is. Like, we need better treatment for these workers. That they're the reason we want to pay to watch these performers. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so.
No, not at all.
So let's treat it like that. This is why I say fuck the management. This is why I stand by that. Support your fucking workers. That's who you should be supporting. The wrestlers that are giving the shit that they're given, because they're the reason why it happens. All right, support them, because we're all they got at this point.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason why on Twitter you'll always catch me retweeting some variant of support the wrestlers, not the brand.
Yep. This is true.
Because that's what they're here for. They're here for our entertainment. They're doing the best with what they're given.
Yep.
And some can and others struggle, and it's no fault of the wrestler because they're doing everything they can with what they're given and with the tools that they have available, or the tools that they know how to use.
Yep. I mean, both companies are guilty of this, by the way. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other fucking side.
Let's not even say both companies.
All companies.
3 companies.
Yeah.
Because everyone always dismisses TNA, but it's still there. All 3 major companies are guilty of this.
Yep.
That's how it's like you mentioned earlier, it's an industry problem. Like all companies have their fair share of creative struggles. And
I don't want to hear, oh, well, WWE does it more than AEW. Oh, AEW does. No.
No, we're not doing that.
Because then we're going down the tribalistic road, and it's industry-wide.
It's an industry-wide problem, yeah. Like, I am so sick. Like, that's where I'm at. You want to know why I stay so fucking neutral? Because I hate the management in every goddamn wrestling promotion. Except for maybe Deadlock.
You know what else is an industry-wide problem, James?
Yes.
Heels speaking the truth, the fans not wanting to believe it, and then the heels ending up being proven to be right.
Yes, like Karrion Kross.
Or Atticus Cogar, from what you just said to me.
Or fucking Fuego, who's no longer Fuego.
Damn it. Now, once we get off the air here, or when I wake up tomorrow, damn it, I'm going to watch the show that's happening tonight because I want to see that shit.
Fucking I don't even care. I thought that dude was basically just a router. I like him. He's probably a good dude. But in wrestling context, that dude was like a fucking modern day Haystack Calhoun and couldn't move for shit. Yeah, beat his ass. Beat his ass, Fuego.
Freaking Emmanuel saying that discussion didn't deserve to be for $2. He has to add money now.
I do appreciate that, Emmanuel.
Yes.
But that's the thing, though. I know he's dealt with this because he took a fucking break for a goddamn long time because of the very fucking shit we're discussing right now.
Well, and let me just be clear for those that don't know my story. I took a break shortly after WrestleMania 30 in 2014 for a couple of different reasons. Number one, the place that I was moving into was not a wrestling-friendly house. So it made it very easy at the time to dismiss pro wrestling. Because if I wanted to get laid, I wasn't watching wrestling. I'm just going to keep it 1,000.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I was so tired of seeing the same people get shoved down my throat. Cena, Orton,
Yep.
Sheamus, Triple H, I was just over it.
Yeah. Well,
You know, Brian had just had his crowning moment,
which should have been
I was
celebrated
happy
way
for
more.
him.
Yeah.
I was happy for him as a friend. Then Punk left. Or Punk left just before that. That's why Brian got that moment, if we want to be honest.
Yeah.
Punk doesn't leave, Brian doesn't get that moment.
Yeah.
Kofi Mania is 5 years later. The fuck? Why?
Shouldn't have been. Yeah, exactly what
That's my point.
Yeah.
Here's all these people that I had invested in, and they're not getting used. And you're just waiting for when Black Friday comes, like came yesterday, to see if your favorite makes that list. And they get wished the best in their future endeavors.
It pisses me off to no end, and it's happened.
So I literally walked away from everything wrestling because I was over it.
You know what's funny about that, JJ? You and I have a very similar story because, like, I think I stopped like 2 months after you stopped, and that was I'll tell you what was my breaking point around that time period of that fucking doldrum era of Vince run WWE at that point, which I personally think is worse than 95. I'm gonna keep it $150, Chief.
I only can't testify to that because I wasn't watching in 95.
You're better off for it. It was a segment leading into fucking Survivor Series that year where they pulled a Russo swerve, which we know how well those worked out if you don't keep them in check, with Ryback. And Ryback had just come back as a babyface. Then they turned him heel, and I saw that they just turned him heel. He just come back when he never should have been turned heel to fucking begin with, by the way. And that was all she wrote for me to be like, yeah, I'm done. Fuck this.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all it took. I was like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, you know what? I don't need this shit no more. I'll keep tabs on shit. I'll still do some videos every now and again, but I'm not going to be fully invested like I used to be.
Yeah. I mean, after that, it was about 5 years before I sniffed anything wrestling again.
Yeah.
And that was only because the only reason I even sniffed anything wrestling again, keeping it 1,000, my buddy, Gino Rivera, was coming to California to do an indie date, and the show just happened to fall on Stat Boy's birthday.
Oh, wow.
So me and Stat Boy went to the show for his birthday to see our good buddy Gino.
Yep.
And that's the only reason I even sniffed it. Gino was doing a program for this company with James Ellsworth, who had already been released by WWE. Crime Time was there. Lance Archer was there. Mark Henry was there. Billy Gunn was there. Gino also did something with Mark Henry that day. He did an in-ring segment with Mark Henry, and then I think he fought Ellsworth. So, again, I met Shotzi that day. It was one of her last indie dates before she reported to NXT. So that was the only reason I sniffed it. Stat Boy's birthday. My buddy Gino was working SoCal. And then from there, as we all know, pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And then I would occasionally go over to Stat Boy's house for like the big four. He would invite me to come over for SummerSlam, celebrate my birthday, because my birthday is August. It's always been tied to SummerSlam. I remember taking Natalie one year, and it was the year that Goldberg was destroying Dolph Ziggler. Just over and over again. He beat Dolph in just a few minutes, started to leave. Dolph called him back, came in, speared him again, left. Dolph called him back in, speared him again. Natalie thought it was the funniest fucking thing watching Dolph get speared over and over again. I felt bad for Dolph because, like, I've met him a number of times. Nick's always been cool with me. Everyone always clowns Oldberg, but here's, not even 10 years old yet, or maybe just barely 10 years old, and she's cracking up so hard about this. I'm like, okay. Getting a little bit of a reaction. That was the only thing she really cared about that night. But still, like, something made her react positively.
Yeah. But I mean...
Yeah. And it's so hard these days. It's so hard these days because I feel what Aaron Rift says sometimes. Because he said on more than one occasion, like, if he wasn't running no DQ, if he wasn't doing the streams and making a living off it, he probably wouldn't even be watching anymore. And especially he wouldn't be watching AEW, he's said more than once. A lot of people only tune into AEW streams these days to see people hate on them and talk about how garbage the product is. As sad as that is to say, and I know Nick is in the chat, Nick comes in the spaces, I don't want him to think I'm being tribalistic, but it is what it is. Like, a lot of people watch YouTubers talk AEW because they want to see what kind of venom they're going to spew about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Even more positive streamers like Just Alex, more often than not, has negative shit to say about AEW.
Yeah.
So it's not just the JDs of the world.
No, it's been a problem.
Yeah, keep in mind, Alex was also a lapsed AEW fan because he was like super pro AEW, and now it's just
a lot of people were. That's the thing. It's like
I'm one of
you
them.
can almost follow a timeline.
Yeah.
And it all starts, and I get Cody left beforehand, but it all really starts with Brawl Out.
I have to say
it really starts with Brawl Out. You can really see people changing from one side to the other right around then. Cody was a shot. It was a devastating blow.
Yeah, because he was the only one keeping the peace.
When the tea got spilled at Brawl Out and all that shit happened afterwards, that's when you really started to see the gap.
Right, which is really crazy because the AEW fans had a civil war within themselves, and I'm like, this is like you either watch Dynamite or you either watch Collision. I'm like sitting here, it's like you can watch both.
I'm gonna say the word because I can fucking say it. The most retarded decision they've ever done was split their audience in half. Dead serious. It was the dumbest thing that they could have done.
To be fair, it's just the fans themselves doing it. Like, that's not on AEW.
Because either you're riding with the Elite, who are the founding forefathers, or you're riding with Punk, who's the guy from WWE that came in and fucked everything up.
But the problem with that is at the end of the fucking day, the egos needed to be put aside, and the only two people that were trying to put aside the bullshit were Punk and Hangman.
Omega.
I'm sorry. You're right. I forgot about Omega. They're the only two.
Hangman came a little bit later.
He did.
Omega and Punk were trying to put it to the side right at the jump. Page started to put it to the side after the whole shoot that Punk did when he cracked on the surplus of Hangman Adam Page figures at the local Target in his hometown.
But
that's when Page started to come around. Was like, look, okay, that was kind of fucked up of me. I'm sorry. They kind of squashed it then, and
that was
never did.
Which, by the way, everybody was like, he didn't want to. Hangman wanted to squash it for a while. Everybody forgets. There's a part of this fucking story. God, feels like we go in circles with this, but part of the story everybody forgets about Brawl Out. Hangman was with FTR the night of the fucking thing, drinking with him. So I'm telling y'all, he wanted to squash it then. He just never got a chance to because his shit friends fucked it up for him. You know why I hate the Young Bucks? They fucked with the money. They fucked with doing business. Much like currently in today's times, I literally said it at the fucking offset when he brought up the fucking drama between Hunter and the Rocky. Have we learned nothing from that incident in 2023, in 2022?
Nope.
How many times are you guys going to do the same fucking bullshit and expect a fucking different result every time? Because literally, this has happened even before Punk and the Elite happened. This has happened way before Hunter and Rocky got their panties in a bunch. Bischoff Hogan with Russo twice. Fucking Cornette and Russo, God knows how long that fucking has lasted. Dutch Mantel was in the middle of that shit, and he was the only one trying to fucking maintain the goddamn peace between those two. And then he was gone. Fucking Bischoff and Vince, we know how well that ended. Hey, Turner, do you remember the fucking time you canceled wrestling the first time, which is why you need AEW now, because you fucked everything else up on your fucking network? Oh yeah, I'm sure you're really regretting that one. Like, how many times do we have to go through the same rinse and repeat shit? It literally is the definition of same shit, different toilet bowl. And I hate to sound, negative fucking Nancy, but I mean, facts are facts. Shit, fuck the ratings for a minute. It's people either do what we do and just be like, and take the good when we can get it. Or they said, fuck this, I got better shit to do with my time. There's really no in between anymore. Call it as we see it.
Yeah. I was about to say, when you were talking about when you took your breaks, I was going to share my little story about when I took my break.
Go for it.
I have a feeling.
It was the summer of 2016.
Yep.
And I got bored out of my ass with WWE. So I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this no more. I'm done. I am done. I can't do this. Keep in mind, I stopped watching Impact at the time because I used to be a fan of Impact, and I stopped watching in 2014, 2015. Yep. And then, so all I had on me was WWE, and I'm like, okay, guess I'm done with wrestling, until one day I accidentally tried to turn up the volume on my TV. I know I've told the story many times. I'm not sure if you guys heard this or not. So I tried to turn the volume up on my TV. I actually turned the channel up. And then it was 11 in the evening. And then I see an ad for Ring of Honor. And I'm like, oh, I've heard about this show. A lot of people were telling me about it. I've heard about Ring of Honor in 2010. But stop me if you've heard this before, okay? I wanted to watch the show, but the fan base drove me away from watching it.
It's kind of how I feel about AEW.
Yeah, I have friends who feel the same way, so. We're not saying all AEW fans are like that, by the way. It's just, I'm just using that as a comparison point.
Same.
Right.
So I tuned into the Ring of Honor show, and I'm seeing hey, I remember you from TNA. I remember you from TNA. You're freaking badass. I like you. You're my new favorite wrestler. I'm going to scream your name at an obnoxious level, Adam Cole, baby. And then
you saw as soon as you said you're my new favorite wrestler, I knew exactly who you were talking about. I was about to be like.
And so then I started watching Ring of Honor for a good 6 months. Because I stopped watching Ring of Honor the moment Cody Rhodes became champion.
What? Aww.
Well, in all fairness, think about it. That was an ex-WWE person who she had turned away from, crossing over into her new territory and taking the title hostage.
I put up with him infiltrating the Bullet Club because around that time I was so down the goddamn freaking Bullet Club rabbit hole. I have no idea how the hell I got pulled out of it.
Yeah, man, that kind of makes me sad because, like, I actually was there for that live, and I fucking loved that because I saw
So the show you were there at turned her off, James. Hang your head in shame.
I just feel
y'all can't be besties no more.
To be fair, I was like super big Cody Rhodes hater. Like nothing Cody Rhodes could have done. It was just like because I was super big Cody Rhodes here. I'm like, oh shit, he's the champion. He's going to be main featured. He's going to be infiltrating Ring of Honor. Okay, I'm done. And then I found out
that didn't last long. By the way, he lost.
How the hell was I supposed to know? I stopped watching.
This is true. He lost it to Dalton Castle, like I think 4 or 5 months later.
Right, and then I found out Adam Cole was leaving, and Kyle O'Reilly was leaving, and Bobby Fish was leaving, and then next thing you know, I'm starting to watching NXT Gold again. I'm like, okay, I'm sucked back into watching WWE now, along with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then those were like the only 2 shows I were watching. And then everyone's like, hey, you like this person from Suzuki Gun. Here, watch these British TV wrestling programs. Like, cool. I'm not forking the money for it, but I can try to find it.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of tweets in 2016 and 2018 be like, hey, Ash, you like this wrestler? Hey, guess what? He's wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. You should watch it.
Yeah, by the way, you know what I think it is, by the way? And it's funny that I see a comment now by Nick that says it. AEW fans suck. You know what? It's a specific fans. It's not the AEW fans that suck because not all AEW fans. It's the Meltzer fucking fans. I'm sorry if I'm calling him straight out, but again, we're gonna just not fucking waste time.
Yeah.
Let's just call it as it is.
Can
The
I add to that? Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
there's pro wrestling fans, right, who use freaking Meltzer star rating as a talking point to big up their favorites.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be real with y'all, okay? If you and I are in a discussion and we're debating and doing what we do when we talk pro wrestling, the moment you bring up Dave Meltzer star ratings, I'm gonna hear you out. But just let you know, I ain't gonna take your opinion that seriously no more. Because it shows me that you value this guy's opinion way more than your own damn opinion. It's one thing you make an opinion and it happens to fall in line with Dave Meltzer without having prior knowledge of what his rating is. That's a different story. Because I swear there's a lot of pro wrestlers I like who Meltzer's given 5+ rating to, but that doesn't change my opinion on them. I'm still going to watch them because I like what they do.
Yep.
I'm
here.
It's just a little bit of off-putting because me as an Omega fan, I had to deal with that. I'm like,
when here's the other thing too, like to add to your point, since you added to mine, when Omega himself is saying he did more damage to my career than any hater could have ever done because his overglazing of me and not 2 greats of all time like Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker don't get fucking 5-star matches, and all he could say basically in so many words was, "Are you mental?"
And the sad part is Ospreay's falling on that same trap because someone needs to tell Ospreay that the same thing would happen to Omega and him is going to happen to Ospreay, and then what?
Yep. Oh, and not to
Someone needs to tell Ospreay just Meltzer left Omega for you.
Yeah.
Who's to say Meltzer's not going to leave you for some other person?
Well,
as weird as that sounds.
Not just that too, but like how sexist he comes across as well to all women within the industry is fucking absurd. How many women's matches that got a 5-star in by his metrics, right? And they don't get those 5 stars. I mean, again, it's it's those fans that have really plagued this aspect of the industry. I mean, they're just as bad as people that only focus on the numbers of whether something's good or bad, because they're arguing numbers in two different statistics, really.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both just as toxic. And like, where does that fucking leave us? Nowhere. Hey, you know what actually fucking builds numbers and metrics in all forms, including star ratings and viewership? A fucking story.
Like, don't get me wrong, I do like a good exhibition match, but I don't want every match to be like that. I want a reason as to why these two are having a match. That's why I want to bring this up. That's why I laughed so hard when DJ gave that example of, hey, James, you effed my woman, and I'm going to get back at you. And that's why we're wrestling. I just laughed so hard.
But here's the problem. See, they also need to be accurate with it, because I did not fuck his woman. I did not at all.
No, but the outlandishness of that example is what.
True.
Laugh.
Sure,
That's
it is.
why.
It
I
is
know
funny.
it was like no offense to you. I know that was completely false.
DJ, I did not fuck your woman. I don't know your woman. You got the wrong guy. that's how I'd be. I'd be like Eugene, bro, trying to fucking get out of
You can
conflict.
add that to the story, and you're like, hey, you got the wrong guy.
I'm autistic. I don't know any better.
You got the wrong guy. So that way that can bring up to another feud for that person. So when DJ finds that person, you and DJ can team up and whoop that guy's ass.
Yeah, true. We could be a tag team. Yeah.
Wow,
we are the non-women.
We just made a story right then and there out of like an outlandish like thing. So it's that simple to make a story.
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be that outlandish though, but like
no.
There needs to be like another reason other than, hey, these two never wrestled before, or hey, you have a title, I want that title. There's got to be more to it than just that.
Yep.
Even though it's a simple, basic story and it works, but I don't want every damn match to be like that though. Like I want reasons as to why these two are facing each other outside of these two have never wrestled before, or it's for a title.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another one. I would love for my story, like the John Cena story, to not just be the same promo for the last 6 weeks in a fucking row. That'd be nice. I mean,
that would be nice.
That would be nice. That would be very nice. Instead of just hearing him say, hey, you abused me, so I'm abusing you back. Okay, when do we progress to the next phase of you, like, kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, or are we ever going to get to that fucking point?
Well, he's already out of bubble gum.
This is true.
Clearly.
This is true. So, like, fuck, man. Like, can we see? You know what I recommended? I talked with a few friends in private about this. I was like, you know what Cena should be doing? He should be taking moves from all of his greatest rivals, from the Edges, the Adam Copelands, to the Randy Ortons, to the Rocks, to the CM Punks, to the Brock Lesnars, right? You should be taking a move from each one of their repertoire, like a Kimura lock, a punt kick, like not necessarily a finisher per se, but like a move, like a spear, stuff like that. Like, he should be taking elements of his rivals and making it a part of his fucking moveset. So that way, he's just brutalizing people with it. Just a thought. I don't know. Fucking, I'm not saying, he needs to pull off everybody's finisher, but like, every once in a while, if he bust out a fucking Styles Clash, that would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
I mean, that would advance the character a little bit. Cena coming in and being like, you guys cheered for him. The most, like this whole feud with Randy Orton, he's like, just like before, you guys cheer for him. Do you guys not even remember what he did to my family, to my father, when he kicked him square in the head? Not once, but twice. Bring shit up like that. Why is it, you fans, you made me sad, and now I'm going to make you sad, and I'm going to ruin wrestling for you.
Okay.
Like, come on. Give me some goddamn... I don't need a bland steak. I want some fucking seasoning. I want... You know what I want? I want my steak to be medium rare with some fucking, paprika and fucking green pepper. Montreal seasoning, something, okay? Just season it up for me. I want my chicken to not be bland. I want some goddamn peppers in that shit. I want you to make a batter that's gonna knock my socks off with some spices. 11 herbs and spices is the way to go. Louisiana batter is the way to go. Give me something of substance, please. Please, yes, something. Yeah.
All right. Emmanuel did send a $3 super chat just to make it $5 for that last conversation piece. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Appreciate it. Yes.
We
went off the beaten path, by the way. Sorry.
It's all good, but we're done with the topics, so it is what it is. There's nothing else to really discuss, so we can go ahead. We can start wrapping up doing the shills. If somebody throws a super chat in there, we can discuss it real quick. But otherwise, we can get out of here a little bit earlier than normal tonight, which is good because I want to get to bed at a decent hour. I want to try and get some rest because I still got a bunch of stuff that I got to do over here, get all set up. And then we've got GCW tomorrow. So
how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? 26.2 miles outside Marshall. No, how dare you?
Well, how dare you, James?
This is true. Listen, I love me some Natalia Markova. And by the way, even then, still wouldn't pay $100. Sorry, I love Natalia, but I don't have.
No, you wouldn't pay $100 to talk to her.
Nah.
What if it was a direct line and you actually could call her and talk to her?
Different story, but even 100's much. That's all I'll say. You guys can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube on the socials right there. I also have Instagram, but I'm hardly on it. So, there's that. And yeah, documentary is work in progress. So we'll just hold off until I actually have it done. Because every time I think I'm done, hey, we got something else to add. Splice it in. I'm like, okay.
No, screw you. Make it a deleted scene for the DVD.
I thought about that, I thought about that. But well, to be fair, like considering how many people want to praise, these are some big names. I can't just leave them out. So
if they wanted to be in it bad enough, they would have been in there from the jump, not sending you stuff when you're freaking trying to get the third part edited.
To be fair, hockey is a never-ending fucking time cycle. It's the second most expensive sport in America besides golf. So there is that. There's a lot of time and money spent. So there is that defense I'll give them. So anyway, it is coming along great. The process is fun, at least. It's just taking longer. So please be patient.
Yes.
Peace with it is. I was going to make a joke. Just shut up, Emmanuel.
And then follow Walter, Rage of Wrestling on YouTube, Walter.Cruz.940 on Instagram, Walter Alex Cruz on X and Blue Sky, SRS 1983 on Twitch. Follow me on Instagram, The Renegade JJ Williams, on YouTube, Casa D18 Studios, on X, ROWJJ Williams, and Casa D18 Studio. Casa D18 Studio is where I usually host the spaces. Now that she's been released, we'll see if we get any saucier pics of her than that one.
This is true. And then we have the actual updated graphic.
Yes, I was going to get there, James. I was going to go to Noah's first.
Oh, no!
Have them in order, let me produce, guy.
Sorry.
He was here earlier, dipped out because he was CP boy. But follow Noah
Ed.
on X, Instagram, and YouTube at nfoster1916, Facebook Noah Foster. I know this coming Thursday, following Impact, so 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, we will be simply predicting Backlash. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Make sure you join us. And then, James, we can promote our Canadian friend. Go ahead, Ash.
You can follow me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBatAsh. You can catch me occasionally talking, but mostly listening on the spaces. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Batty for Wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead. Subscribe.
Mhm.
This is true.
And that's going to wrap things up then. Under 3 hours. Yesterday's stream went longer. Go figure.
There you go.
Want to thank Noah for being here. Want to thank Ash for coming in when she did. Thank you, James, for being here with me the whole time.
Hi.
Thank you to everybody that's super chatted. Ray J's World, Emmanuel. Thank you to everyone that was in the chat. Charles, Safet, Chris, 26.2 Miles Outside Parts Unknown, Nick, everybody that joined us here this evening. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow as James and I will be covering GCW's We Still Don't Trust You.
What a weird
That'll
name.
be kicking off for us at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific as we run down the card and everything. And then the actual event will kick off at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Triller Plus. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Triller Plus tier of the Triller TV app in order to see all the GCW events for free as part of that $9.99 a month price point there.
Yes.
You also get House of Glory shows, which we cover next Friday. In addition to New Japan Resurgence will be House of Glory. So we're going to have to try to come up with multiple teams. Do you work on Friday, Ash?
I won't know until this Tuesday.
Okay. Because we'll put you on the New Japan show if you don't work.
You're
You
right,
and Noah can do
right.
New Japan, and me and James can do House of Glory.
Yeah, because, oh man, I got a lot of catching up to do on New Japan. I have to watch Windy City Riot. I got, what else came up? The stuff leading into Resurgence, Don Taku. I got a lot to catch up on.
But
There's
thank you.
Collision I got to catch up on that.
Right.
Let's be real, I haven't even started yet.
I mean, you could just listen to podcasting and then you're caught up like I do.
Pretty
That
much.
just
It's not the
helps.
same as watching, though. Like I
This
said,
is
I was
true.
going
Yeah,
to
but-
hit watch.
Yeah, but it helps to catch up easier, though, sometimes.
True, but it's not the same because I've heard there's some good shit happen on Collision. I'm like, oh shit, I might get sucked. Never mind, I'm already sucked in. I got no excuse.
What happened on Collision? That was a thing.
I heard Adam Cole and Claudio had a match that slapped.
That's not shocking, though. It's just...
I mean, yeah, but that's a reason to watch Collision, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's true. I
I'm
guess.
If you
trying to
guys,
find positives here after shooting myself in the foot with the bazooka, okay?
yeah,
Yeah, well, we all did that. Hey, you know what? We only shoot ourselves in the foot because the industry did it first.
that's right. If you guys missed it, go back in the archives, check out the 3-hour conversation that we had last night about all the releases that occurred yesterday.
Too
Some
many.
great talking points there. And then make sure you guys are back here next week for another episode of the Shenanigans. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see y'all next time. Have a good night.
Goodbye, everybody.